David Dayen has a piece where he takes the Progressive Caucus to task. There's the cat, of course, the classic cat interruption that we need to include in all our shows now.
I read his piece. Yeah.
Dayen's basically arguing, right, that the reason why the Progressive Caucus has been so feckless is because all they're doing is basically, they're putting up a wish list. Nancy Pelosi pats them on the head, says, good for you. These are all great ideas. Really appreciate the effort, what you guys are doing. You guys are doing great work.
Yeah.
And then walks away, and that's it. And they don't go after Nancy Pelosi. They don't try and flex any muscle. I don't know if it's because they don't have any other alternative as to who should be Speaker of the House. I don't understand that. I don't know if it's because they don't have the ability to raise money like, Hoyer or Pelosi can, and they feel that they can. I don't know what it is, but what they're doing is not working. Yeah.
I think it's a fear of losing. I think it's a fear of picking a fight and then losing. Because when you pick a fight and lose, you reveal that you were weak the whole time. I think that's really it.
Well, here's the thing. It still appears that they're weak.
Yeah, it certainly does. Yes.
And I certainly agree with the idea of you need to have proper timing. You don't want to get into a fight that you think you're going to lose. That I can appreciate that, but to basically, not even, okay, so don't make it a fight, but let's see, here's some more criticism, because it's like, it can't get that much worse than what we have here in terms of what we're doing. And the strategy seems to be like, Trump's just going to drive himself into a ditch, and all well and good. But, Chris Coons is out there talking about austerity already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people have to remember, as far as I know, the most prominent surrogate, was that clip from 10 years ago, that Chris Coons clip?
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed in Jessica Rain's social team for that misleading tweet, actually. I checked it out yesterday. That's from a clip with Judy Woodruff from TARP.
Oh, basically. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, it's really deceptive.
Wow. That wouldn't surprise me, though.
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
But.
Well, there's still, I think you can see there's still a belief that, in attaching time limits and caps on things like the unemployment benefit, which is one of the best things that they've done. But like the fact that there's a cap on it instead of like just saying this is indefinite until the crisis is gone, like that shows an austerian fear of being punished for going too far that I think still has a stranglehold over their thinking.
Well, look, Nancy Pelosi is a Pete Peterson acolyte.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was pushing pay-go.
Yeah.
Like, this is a real problem. And I mean, I also think that we're at the point like where she has missed her leverage point, and I can't tell if that's on purpose or what.
Yeah.
Like if this is
right. I think it like I do. I really think it was on purpose to the extent that she knew there was like a time window when anything goes, and very purposefully limited what was put on the table during that time period. Yeah. Like maybe she thinks now she can still cut a deal, but in that period when it was like everything's on fire, anything goes, like that was when she actually worked to make sure only certain options are on the table.
Well, I mean, and it's quite obvious that we are not in the peak leverage moment when everybody in the Senate is just basically like, we're just going about our business to approve conservative justices. Yeah. And they don't seem to be like you want, obviously your peak leverage is like when they're rushing to the table to get something out the door.
Yeah.
And you need to say like, that's not what we're putting out the door. And that's why like in terms of the way that this, and I hear people saying like, well, if they had said no, then they would be standing in the way of this. You put out a plan from Congress.
Yes.
And you actually make that plan compete with the other plan so that the conversation isn't just that you're obstructing.
Yeah.
We do know that obstruction apparently does work. I mean, I don't know if people were around the last time.
Right.
But that you're not just obstructing, but you're actually like, they're obstructing your plan.
Right.
Is really what it should be.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was and I don't even know, like, I can't even really figure out exactly how or why this happened, but I found it really interesting. Again, this was when Congress was still passing its emergency bills, but like right after the last big Senate bill passed, it was like the day after every senator voted for it, Warren came out with her like, and here's what the next round must have. And I was like, why did you wait that extra day? Like, you just voted on a package yesterday and you don't know when the next one will come. So that's the strategy I've seen, not just from Pelosi, but from nearly everyone.
Yep.
The progressives, like from Sanders and Warren to Pelosi and everyone else. Like they waited there. I don't know.
I think it is what you're talking about is this like intense fear of just like, we're going to wait to have this battle when the stakes are lower.
Yeah.
That's the strategy, right? It's like, these need to get out the door right now. The stakes are really, really high.
Yeah.
And I get the idea that, and this is something that you and I have lived with for now, going into its second decade. I get the idea, the dynamic that Republicans are willing to kill the hostages.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Democrats are not.
Democrats have to be the responsible ones.
But I'm sorry. In this instance, it is not such a clear case of that.
Well, no, like the Republicans, the
from a political standpoint. From a political standpoint,
like the Republicans wanted to, and this is what, like, again, what they wanted, they got, which was to stabilize the markets, like the actual real economy. They care much less about, but like returns to investors are doing okay. That's what they wanted. So they got what they wanted, and that was a thing to hold hostage while you saved everyone else.
Exactly.
But instead, it was a bipartisan priority to sort of like get that, the markets running again. So,
and it seems to me like with the small business, like the second bite at the PPP, they came back and they're like, we got 60 billion for hospitals and this and that. But my feeling is like, why not go in and ask for more?
Yeah.
Like, they're only giving if there's that much pressure to get money out to small businesses, which I think there was.
Yeah.
Then how about doubling that part of it?
Especially because
get something that is substantial, even to their constituency. Like if they're coming back and saying we need 250 for small businesses, you come back and you go, you know what? We want 500 for small businesses.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the hospitals and whatnot.
Right. And I mean, this is a time to take advantage of the fact that Republicans are deficit hypocrites. In other words, like, use that to your advantage. They will spend an unlimited amount of money because they don't care about deficits. But the problem is the other side does actually care about deficits. Oh, my cat's driving me crazy.
She's a huge Pelosi fan.
Yes. No, the cat is going nuts because I'm disrespecting House leadership.
But I'm just really flummoxed by this. I mean, they're going to come out. Hopefully it'll be a good bill, but there's really, three major things that you need in it. Obviously more support for people. I would also, health insurance. I just, this idea of COBRA is just absurd to me.
The fact that they're taking advantage, that they're using this time to literally prop up with huge amounts of money, prop up the employer-based healthcare system it's astounding.
It's most expensive part of it too.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And they need to have what are known as automatic stabilizers built into the bill so that these programs that are initiated are contingent not on time periods or fixed amounts of money, but are contingent upon what is happening in the economy as measured by like, unemployment or health insurance or whatever it is, some benchmarks so that it's automatic that this money goes through. And then on top of that, they need to do, I think, fair and safe voting across the country.
Yeah. And I think that the That's right. The priority is get money to people, figure out how to actually hold safe and free elections, and I think they've been talking about it for the last month too, but like state and local budgets have just had a hole blown in them, every single one. And that should have been another early priority instead of something to wait to negotiate with later, because they're already imposing austerity, and the austerity that states are going to impose is going to undo any economic stimulus you try to do at the federal level.
Yep.